Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all my Cardfight Vanguard Nebula Knight deck profile. This is the new Keter Sanctuary deck that we got in the latest Cardfight Vanguard booster set, Super Brave Detonation, being a deck from the Youthquake series, used by one of the manga characters from that set. Very similar to Sky Ruler being the two decks released for it in this booster set. The other ones were just, newer support, Minerva and Platina Azul for Keter. So Nebula Night Lord Sirius was the completely new Vanguard for the set. So wanted to show you all my variant of the deck as one of the last couple decks that needed to be deck profiled on the channel. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the ride line, we have the Energy Generator with our grade 0 being Nebula Knight of Succession Sirius when Rotobon. If you went second, draw a card. Our grade 1 is Guided Nebula Knight Sirius. When placed by riding from Nebula Knight of Succession Sirius, reveal a grade 3 card with its Nebula Knight and its card name from your ride deck. Search your deck for up to one Nebula Knight of Craving Coriolanus, call it to rearguard, and shuffle the deck. So just being able to then call out the Nebula Knight of Craving from our deck gives us added search power for the grade 1 form of Coriolanus in the deck, also acting as sort of a backup unit for the majority of the deck. Also, our grade 2 is Nebula Knight of Glory Sirius when wrote upon by a grade 3 with Sirius and its card name. Soul Blast 1, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to one card with Nebula Knight and its card name from among them, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle the deck. So more search power for a good majority of the deck, and having that added option with our main go-to grade 3 being Glistening Nebula Night Lord Sirius as well, along with the copy we run in the ride deck. We're running 3 additional copies in the main deck as well. On the Vanguard, once per turn, you can return 2 cards with Nebula Light and their card name from the deck from drop, and choose up to basically 2 of your rear guards, search your deck for, or choose up to 1 of your rear guards, search your deck for up to 1 card with Nebula Knight and its card name with grade equal to that chosen unit's grade plus 1, call it to rear guard, and that chosen unit is on, and shuffle the deck. So it's a very weird wording, being able to just return those 2 cards with Nebula Knight from the deck from drop. So then you return them and then choose one of your rear guards, search your deck for up to 1 with the same grade equal to that card, call it to that rear guard, and then choose an on and shuffle the deck. So it's search power, basically, just being able to search and return the additional Nebula Knights. And when this unit attacks, you can counterblast 1, choose a column, stood, and stand all of the rear guards with Nebula Knight and their card name in that column. If you persona roll this turn, discard a trigger unit from hand. Look at the same number of cards on the top of your deck as the number of your rear guards with Nebula and your card name. Put them on the top of the deck in any order. So you then also search and set up the needed triggers that you want for your drive check off of this play as well. But it comes down to needing a good majority of your units in the deck being Nebula Knights, which are grade 3 is Loyal Bravery Nebula Knight Coriolanus. When it's placed on rear guard with a grade 2 card with Coriolanus in its card name, choose up to 1 grade 1 Coriolanus from your drop, call it to the back row rear guard. If your Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, Soul Blast 1, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, choose a card from among them, put it into the hand, put the rest on the top or bottom of the deck, setting up the cards needed for Coriolanus to then be able to, order the top cards of the deck. But then it also plays into the actual serious play, setting up those units to then give you an additional card thanks to the grade 3 Coriolanus to rely on as well. And 4 copies of the grade 2 Nebula Knight of Fulfillment Coriolanus when it's placed on rearguard with a grade 1 card with Coriolanus in its card name. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3, or if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 2 or greater, counterblast 1, search your deck for up to 1 grade 3 card with Coriolanus in its card name, call it to rearguard, and this unit is on, and shuffle the deck. So it's basically just phasing out each individual different grade for Coriolanus that we have. And on rearguard as well, if you have a Nebula Knight in its card name, this unit cannot be retired by your opponent's card effects, which we'll go over the additional effect we missed with the grade 3. When this unit attacks, if you have a Vanguard with Nebula Knight in its card name, it gets plus 5 power. And on rearguard at the end of your turn, choose a grade 2 card with Nebula in its card name from a drop, call it to rearguard, and this unit on this unit as rest. So to basically have this card be placed over and replaced with a card that can guard as well for the added protection. And then the other grade 2s we run. Ideally, I do want to run 4 copies of Nebula Knight of Mounted Shot Hargana. So we have another card with Nebula Knight. I have a Cadwalla as a placeholder here. On rearguard during your turn, if your rearguard was retired or put into the soul during the main phase of this turn, this unit gets plus 5,000. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, it gets plus 10 instead of plus 5. And on rearguard, once per turn, when this unit attacks a Vanguard while boosted with a Nebula Knight and its card name, and you can Soul Blast 1, discard a card from your hand, reveal the top card of your deck, choose one of your opponent's front row rearguards, and bind it if that is a trigger unit, and choose one of your opponent's back row rearguards if it is not. So then just having an added bonus with the other revealed cards for Sirius to then be able to retire an opponent's rearguard depending on where it's placed on the rearguard circles, depending on if you were able to reorganize the cards on the top of the deck with a trigger unit or not as well. And then also 3 copies of Divine Sister Biscotti to finish off the grade 2 lineup. Just having a better card to make use of the Energy Blast in the deck to then be able to give us draw power as well when we discard Biscotti to do so. For the grade 1s, 3 copies of Nebula Knight of Illusory Edition. Fumla Root. When it's discarded from hand during your turn, if you have a Vanguard with Nebula Knight and its card name, you can call this card to rearguard. If you call it a card, this unit cannot attack until end of turn, but it can still boost, so it's really there to then use the additional setup for your other Nebula Knight cards as well to be able to do so. And if you have a Vanguard with Nebula Knight and its card name, put this unit to the soul, look at the top card of your deck, put it on the top or bottom of the deck to then give you added setup once again for the top cards of your deck to know what they are going to be. The 3 copies of the grade 1 Coriolanus, Nebula Knight of Craving Coriolanus. When this unit boosts to grade 3 or greater unit with Nebula Knight and its card name, gets plus 2,000 to the end of the battle. Discard a card from your hand, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a trigger unit, choose one of your opponent's front row rearguards in the same column as this, retire it, and put the reveal card on the top or bottom of the deck. So this is also where the discard power can come in handy for Fulma Root to then discard and then be able to set up another grade 1 on the rearguard circle as well. Then the 3 copies of Dissection Angel being one of the newer cards in the booster set to use as well. If you didn't want to run this card due to its price, you could just increase the number of Coriolanus and Fulma Root that you run in the deck for the grade 1 counts. But it gives you more Soul Blast Retire draw power and then plus power as well for a counter charge as well. And then the Sentinel lineup being the Elementary Sanctitude and the 3 copies of Sethlon, just one of the more fitting Sentinels in the deck, I would say, aesthetic-wise, just matching up with the design for the other Nebula Knights. And then for our Blitz orders, we're running 3 copies of Heavenly Bright. You play this card with an Energy Blast 2, look at the top card of your deck, call it to guard circle, or put it on the top of the deck. If you called a card, that called unit gets plus 10,000 till end of that battle. So once again, it can set up cards on the top of your deck, so if you know a trigger is on the way, you can use Heavenly Bright to set it up there, or an additional card to call to the guard circle using this Blitz order. And then the trigger lineup consisting of the 8 criticals for added pressure to our Vanguard attack, the 3 copies of the draw, which these could be fronts as well if you wanted to replace them there, the 4 heals, and then the 1 copy of Valnut, which it can also be Idosvara in this last spot if you wanted to run the blue generic overtrigger instead. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy. A pretty, convoluted deck, if you want to say it to be the least, just have with all the wording for placing cards where and when on the rearguard circles. But still, a fun one at that from the Youthquake series. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Qualia out.